As people pleasers, we blame ourselves because we think our abundant attention and love for others and our neediness for approval and validation and our scare for being hated or disliked are an issue. We carry a lot of shame around it, and we think that reflects something's wrong with us. I used to carry a lot of shame around my personal identity because I think, I sacrifice my personal values, I tolerate them to the extreme, I give them too much attention while I'm a jackass to myself. I put up with other people's crap, I sacrificed my personal boundaries, and I hated myself for it. Until one day I discovered that people-pleasing behaviors are not about the other person. It's about us coping with emotional starvation. It's our desperate cry for help. If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Fran. I have been struggling with mental health issues ever since I was a teenager, and I've been working through these issues with a psychotherapist for about 4 years now. In this channel, I will show you how to create a better relationship with yourself and heal your relationship with the world that are full of anxiety, shame, and fear. In this video, I will review 3 brutal truths you need to know about people pleasing if you wanted to heal it. And I don't want you to carry a lot of shame around it because there's a reason for that and there's a cure. And I will show you how I grew and evolved and healed from it. So let's jump right into it. So starting with truth number 3, you have to understand that people pleasers, they often come from a background or family where love, attention, and acceptance are not adequate or consistent. That breeds insecurity and starvation for love and approval and validation. I want you to first understand this. It's not bad, there's something wrong with you. It's not that your abundant love or focus on others is an issue. It's not that. There's nothing wrong with us. It's just how we've learned to cope by anticipating what others need from us, what they would approve of us. And we create this false image. We hope that through this false image of being nice, of being sensitive to other people's needs, of being sweet, of being caring and loving, that people would see we have value and they would keep us around. And that's really sad because if you grew up in family or live in emotionally unstable environment right now, it's only natural and normal that you would crave for people's validation because there's deep loneliness of existential crisis that if you don't have connections in your life. So you have to come up with creative ways to make people like you, make people appreciate your value. Before my mom passed away when I was 7, she had been extremely strict with me. She's this person that I'm impossible to ever please and meet her standards. Whenever I didn't follow her command, whenever I was being naughty, she would ask me to go to study and just talk to me like she was talking to an employee. Just imagine how in that environment, how scared I was. Like, I made one mistake and she would just call me in and have a long chat with me about how I should behave, how I should be more mature, and that scared shit out of me. And I knew very young that I had to be good for my mom so she could be happy with me. She would spare a smile with me, or else she wouldn't even talk to me. She wouldn't even look at me. She wouldn't even give me attention. And now I think about it, it's just really sad because I never had a happy childhood like a lot of people that I'm jealous of. Like, I was never relaxed about who I was. The nature of being a vulnerable, innocent, and naughty kid is not okay with her. And I think that's the biggest reason that I turned out to be a people pleaser. And there's no doubt for that I would turn out to be a people pleaser. And the second truth you need to know is that you get really, really good at predicting other people's needs. And that's how your focus is trained. You have always been extremely focused because maybe as a child, you were forced to predict the needs of your parents, the emotions of your parents. One minute they're happy and next minute they would just change faces and be this cruel, angry, or create this chaotic environment that would deprive the basic security feelings of a child. You have probably been made to believe that you have to try really hard for people to accept you. And that is the deep core belief of people pleasers. because you're worried that if you don't try, if you just naturally reveal who you are, say things you exactly wanted to say, and do things exactly what you wanted to do, there's no guarantee that people want you. There's no guarantee that they will like you. And that is our biggest fear. Not to mention that some kids get parentified. Like, they have to take care of the baby sisters. They have to, take care of the sick mom or sick dad. They have to do a lot of chores around the household to prove that they have values. And those kids learned very young that there's a role that they have to play. In a way, it's good because that's just how we're shaped. We grew up to be therapists. We become, life coaches. We become doctors and nurses because we can take care of other people. In another way, we deprive our own needs. We ignore our needs. We push them down because we feel like, well, there are so many people waiting for us to take care. If they're not okay, we carry this huge guilt. We carry a lot of shame. We think we're bad people. And that's the very discomfort as people pleasers we tend to avoid. Some parents even get really good at guilt tripping their children to make them think they're not good enough. And also not even parents, maybe some of our friends or co-workers, some of them get really good at reading who to use. So they read that you cannot say no. You're needing of approval, and it leaves you at a vulnerable place because you don't want to say yes because you don't want to. But you cannot say no either, because you feel worse when you have the guilt, the shame, the fear of abandonment. And the number one truth is that sometimes the people that you're pleasing may not be really happy, like they don't really feel comfortable. And the reason I say that is because it's not out of a selfless intention. It's out of that you need something from the other person. It doesn't matter if it's approval or validation or someone to like you or whatever. So when your love is not reciprocated, when the favor is not returned, or when others don't appreciate you, it can get really ugly. You may start to hold grudges. You may accuse others of being ungrateful. You may blame others for being cruel and try to guilt trip them into thinking that they are bad people. Be noted that it's nothing to be ashamed about it. And I'm not trying to attack you because I am a people pleaser. I'm just saying this. I wanted to point it out so that you can be aware that maybe there's no need to please others because maybe they're not genuinely being pleased. I'm going to use an example for you to understand, how different it is if you're coming from a people-pleasing angle or you're just simply being nice. So if you're being nice and there's someone that you don't want to do nice things for, it's like appreciate a sunset or a beach. You just wanted to be there and appreciate it as the way it is without trying to change anything. You wouldn't say that, well, this cloud needs to smile at me a little bit more, or this bird needs to sing louder. But if you're coming from a self-serving purpose, you want something from the other person. Maybe there's a cool girl in school that I wanted to get her approval, right? I would be terrified of offending her in any ways. I would avoid conflicts at any cost. I would even sacrifice my own personal values so that she could keep me around. And somehow the other person magically always feel that you're being pleasing. It creates distress, it creates discomfort. It gives them a lot of stress. They would try to run away from you maybe. They would try to, step back because they can sense the vibes. They can sense that you are not being genuine. And that creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. The harder you try to please people, the harder it drives people away. Whatever it is hurtful to the relationship you have with the person that you're trying to please. Alright everyone, hope this video is helpful. I have a playlist about people pleasing. If you wanted to check it out, I'm gonna put it up here or here somewhere. Alright, have a great day. Bye.